and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda. I have one item to add. The EDA voted on raising their limit on their loans, and they passed it. I don't know. I guess we should probably run it through the council too. So we'll add that.
New business?
New business number 3,
Okay.
the EDA revolving loan. Any other additions or changes?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written with the one addition.
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consent agenda? Clinton?
All right, the consent agenda, we have the minutes from our last meeting, January 10th, and we have the accounts receivable, accounts payable. There are a couple accounts payable I'd like to point out. Andrea, I bet you have a couple. Do you want to go first?
Go for it.
Oh, man, pressure. Now this is the big test to see if they're the same. The first page, we have paid half of the HVAC system improvements for City Hall. It's a little over $28,000. Halfway down the page to Cleaner Air Solutions. That's the rescue plan money that we've been talking about, okay? If you turn the page, about a third of the way down, Jetter Clean, we have $8,550 spent on the 2022 street project. That is videoing and mapping the sewer lines on that street project. So that's part of the cost of the summer street project. And on the bottom of that page, Minnesota Municipal Utility Association, we have the safety program, the first quarter. The quarterly fee of $350 is in tonight's payables. That's all I have. How'd I do?
I'm just gonna add one. The state base payables for the loan, that was with the First Street project, that covers the street lighting, so that's $36,000.
How many more years we have on that?
I
Yeah.
don't know off the top of my head. I have to look at the schedule.
And then, did we get all the flooring and stuff done? Because I noticed that there was like kind of an increase in office stuff. I'm just assuming as you were going, there was a lot of things found and...
A few things. The rest of the flooring, well, we'll get to in a second. It's not quite all done yet.
Yeah.
The
But-
PD isn't done yet.
Right.
That's kind of just what I was thinking. I'm like, I bet like as you go, like once you do a project, you find more things and, yeah, okay.
We haven't paid payable for the flooring yet, though.
No, it was just like office stuff.
Well, like extra file cabinet here or there.
Yeah,
whatever,
I
think
just
is what
figured
she's
like as you
referring
go,
to.
like it just kind of happens
Right.
that way.
Any other questions on the consent?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Public forum? Anyone here to speak through public forum? Public forum? No, you guys are on the agenda, so it's not a public forum for you. You're all right. All right, moving on. Notice of communications. I don't know that anybody...
The only few items I have, Andy and Jim, you had a couple magazines in today's mail. Happy reading.
Okay. Council reports. Well, Jim, you had a park board meeting about
Yeah,
an
we had
hour
park
ago.
board earlier today, really festive. They were energetic and everybody contributed. We set our agenda for our projects for the year, kind of prioritized them. There'll be an item coming to the council from that meeting tonight. Also, we had a Park Road Plaza meeting, and things are going well over there. There's always difficulties. They informed me that we are the lowest paid rent in southern Minnesota. Our county is lower than Waseca, Mankato, or, you know, all the surrounding communities. Janesville can collect less rent than all the rest of the counties around it. So, and that's always trouble.
that
They're doing okay. They're working toward their elevator. There is one item that they'd like me to bring up to you. Dennis Garnes got off the board, but he would like to sit as an advisory until the elevator is done. And I told him I didn't think we needed a vote. I think they can authorize that as a group within themselves. Am I correct in that?
He's a non-voting member?
Yes.
Then it shouldn't be a problem? Okay.
That's what I told him, that he could sit in anytime he wants. He just
Yeah.
can't vote.
Yeah.
The meetings are open to the
Yeah, I mean,
public,
it's a
so.
public meeting, anybody can sit anytime they
Yeah.
want.
That's what the position I took. with
Yeah,
that,
no,
so.
there's no problem with that.
All right.
Mike?
We had nursing board meeting, I did not attend it, and, but I got a report from Pete. The only real pressing on there was, the state raised the rates, are changing as of the first of the year, so they went up,
Yeah.
pretty substantial. It's like 30, I don't know the exact
When it-
number. It's like
it's-
30-some dollars a day or something like that.
It's all dependent on like what they're assessed at too,
Yeah.
each level. So we're going through it in my line
Just
of
so
work, too.
people are aware that that's something mandated by the state, that set their rates. It's not locally decided that we're raising the rates at the nursing, or the Whispering Creek, I'm sorry. Still old habits.
Okay. Melissa, you got anything? We had an EDA meeting this week. I don't know, we have our EDA specialist here, she could probably give the report. but Our main discussion, I think, was on the revolving loan fund. We did touch a little bit on the, vacancy fee stuff that's going on, but, EDA has $280,000 in our revolving loan fund, roughly, and nobody seems to be applying for it, so we were gonna raise the maximum loan amount from 40 to 80. That's all we're gonna do at this point, to raise that. Marley might look at possibly some criteria changes or stuff like that down the road, but that's, for this exact moment, that was really all that was decided. Did I miss anything? Andy?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Clinton, administrator report.
Okay, on the screen, you have my report. The cash balance report as of last Friday is in your packet. The Township Fire Board meeting, we try to meet with them every February, which is usually right after our annual meeting with the fire department. That way, the Township Fire Board can look at the new officers. We will have new officers this year that the city council will approve that night. I would suggest that we have our Township Fire Board meeting on Monday, February 14th, if that's okay with everyone. Okay?
Great way to spend our Valentine's Day. I can't wait.
I didn't know it was Valentine's Day. I didn't know it was Valentine's Day, so.
Dark
Guess I'd have
chocolate,
been
I
told,
prefer.
What's that?
I prefer dark chocolate.
Me
if-
too.
okay.
Red or
Better
white?
apple.
but I guess I'd have been told, but.
Moving right along. City Hall improvements. I just want to give a quick update here. Beginning this week, we're gonna, get all the materials moved out of the police department area, and the flooring will start there. So we should be done with all the flooring work here within a week and a half-ish, I guess. And as I mentioned, half of the HVAC was covered with the invoice that we paid, so we're, still working on some of those things. If anybody notices, the HVAC is working wonderful here. We can breathe easier, I say as I have a cold. But anyway, a gentleman came into City Hall last week, and he said it smells like I'm in a clinic, like a medical clinic. And I said, well, that's good, that means the air is clean. What do you want? No. Anyway, but, it's good, so we're very happy to have that.
Getting all that moldy ductwork out of here can't hurt.
Getting rid of mold is always good.
Mhm.
The only other item I guess I have here, Waste Management, every year they send boxes and boxes of calendars, and there's a bunch at the table if anybody wants one, grab one tonight, but it's the dates of
Recycling.
recycling and collections throughout this year. So those are nice little things to put on your fridge at home. And the last thing, Coalition, the weekly update from them is in your packet. And like I said a few weeks ago, just kinda keep looking at the newspapers. This is gonna be a fun time in St. Paul this year with that huge budget surplus. Politics is gonna be very interesting the next 6-7 months.
Was wondering, 'cause they have the Legislative Action Day coming up.
Yeah, they do.
Do we have enough for 2 of us to go? Expensed for that?
I would think so.
Andy, you should come with me.
I would love to.
Yeah?
When is it?
March 2nd.
Okay.
Perfect. I will get a hold of my guys that we go up there with, like, that I run around there with the whole day,
Yep.
but I think you'd like it.
I will do that.
Okay.
It's great networking
It,
to get
yeah,
with the state guys.
yeah.
Yes, and thank you for attending those in the past, Melissa. Those are good to go to.
Yeah. This is the first in-person one we had in 2 years now.
Yep.
So, exciting.
All right, that's what I have for administrator reports.
I'll make a motion to approve administration reports.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Mancini's, huh?
Old business. We have the street utility improvements, update. However, Jason Femright is out currently.
Yes.
So Clinton is gonna bake it.
Okay, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm a city engineer for a couple minutes here. This is the point of our street project where we ask the city council to approve the plans and specs for the project. And when we do that, what we're doing is we're approving the advertisement for the bids. So tonight's resolution approves our plans and specs, and we're gonna open up bids on Friday, February 18th at 11 a.m. I'm gonna say that the plans and specs are right here to my right. They're about 75 pages long, and they have absolutely every detail of every square inch of the project. If anybody would like to look at that, you're more than welcome to. But the gist of tonight is that we are approving those plans so we can get the advertisements out there. And I also want to say that this year may be a little different. I'm just kind of warning you that with the supply chain the way things are and inflation the way things are, we may get some really big bids for this project. It may be
We
reality.
can look at possibly cutting back or
It-
doing different things with the project. We don't necessarily have to
Right.
scrap it if the bids don't come in where we want. There's some options.
And what I want to make a point to you tonight is that tonight you're advertising the bids. When we get the numbers, then you can look and really determine what you as a council want to do. Jason, anything else?
And that's in regards of doing just Allen Street or Allen Street End?
That'll be
All
both
of
of
it.
them.
All of
But they will be bid separately.
Sure.
Yep.
So we'll, come February 18th or shortly thereafter, we'll have some decisions to make at that time.
Gotcha.
Right now, we're just saying we're gonna advertise for bids.
So if I just want to point out, if you look at the screen, number 12. Number 12 is what I'm talking about. We're going to open bids on February 18th. We'll have the council will accept the bids, and then we will have the assessment hearing and things like that in March. So we're following through this
Schedules.
schedule right now. Yep.
and the whole project could, if it comes back way too high, we could scrap the whole project we still have time to do that.
Yep.
Yes. I make a motion to move forward and go out for bids.
Second.
All in favor of
Jim?
22-04?
Aye.
Aye. Special assessment on the foreclosed lots in Rolling Acres. Do you want them up at the podium, or?
Mhm.
I can give the 30-second version. Victor, is that okay? Cindy, is that okay?
You can come up and state your name and address, so we got it down.
I can do it too,
Well, let's have you do it.
My name's Josh Rutherford, if you don't know who I am. I am interested in, purchasing these two lots.
Which two on the corner are we looking, these?
Those two.
Yep.
That little one and the...
The city owns both of them, obviously.
Yep.
So this lot right here is pretty small. Basically, it was intended, like these houses here, where they're connected. So if I were to put a house here, my offsets, I would only have 30 feet to build total for the width of the lot. So what I'd like to do is combine these two lots and pay the assessments on one of them and go from there, I guess. So if I were to, let's just say you sold me this lot, and this lot, you only have 30 feet to actually building a building area where these houses are connected, that's why you don't have the offsets on the sides.
So
Glenn, I believe we have some past records on this. We've done this in the past.
yeah, and basically I was just gonna add to what Josh says is, we've done this in the past where we've reduced assessments off these foreclosed lots. So they're asking to reduce one assessment, and if you do actually approve that, they will go ahead and put their bid in for that foreclosed lot, and if they're successful with that, then they will combine the lots. So it's kinda like step one of 2 and 3. Does that make sense?
And then combine to pay them and whatever else goes with it.
Yep.
There's other stuff that goes with it, something.
Because in order to move forward with building anything on there, anticipating the full thing, you need to do this step, I see.
Yeah.
And
That makes
history,
sense then.
oh, go ahead, sorry, Melissa.
No, that was it.
When these lots were originally platted, these were platted as townhomes. So you can tell,
Mhm.
There's an odd number of lots, essentially, is what.
Yeah.
these are townhomes here.
Well, so there's a guy that built on the end too, on the very end down here.
Mhm.
And like, they should have started there and then worked their way down, then it would've worked, but that guy just
Did
built
in
on
the
a
middle.
single, he built on a single one.
So that's why that lot, which says Janesville right in the, kind of the center, that's why that's not buildable, because it was intended as a half a twin home years ago. The foreclosed lots go on sale February 10th? Does
Yeah.
that sound right?
Yep.
What are you gonna build there, do you think, Josh?
I don't know, it's kinda up in the air, so I think it has to be a slab on grade.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. I also was asking around if, you know, what was going on with the shell steel, if that's a thing or another option, I don't know.
I think that, we should probably go with this. I'd like to see new houses going up. Our tax base is going to increase because your house within 4 years or 5 years will pay off whatever that lot had assessed, so. I would move that we, accept his proposal and move forward.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I have questions here. We give this option to Josh here on this, and some reason you don't get the bid or whatever, somebody else bids it, does that option go right along with whoever gets the bid, or how does that work?
I would say it would. I mean, who it is should make
Yeah.
zero difference.
Because
I'm
the
just-
wording,
I assume so, but I just wanna make sure that's clear that,
well, because luckily in the resolution, it's not your name in the resolution, it's the property IDs
Yeah.
in the resolution. So I should think that would carry through.
Yes.
Good point, Mike.
This isn't directly linked to
Yes.
him,
And that is-
Yep.
right.
it's linked to the property.
To
And that would be
property,
only if the other bidder wanted both of them,
Right.
you know?
I just wanna make sure that it was,
So, I'm not exactly sure how the payment like works on this, but like, so there's the 15th, is that what you guys are saying, that it goes up?
I don't,
Or up for,
I think the 10th, I'm not sure.
like, I'm not sure how it works, that's why I'm asking.
I'm not sure how the auction works. When we purchased our foreclosed lots, we went to the recorder's office, paid $500, and then, the recording fees along with that, and then the following tax year, our assessment was due. That's how the
So
one-
what I understood was that there isn't actually an auction for it. For the other lot in town, there's an auction for that one, but this one doesn't have an auction on it, correct?
So that you should be able to just go to the recorder's office and purchase with the PID.
Okay. Because the other, in Northwoods or whatever, there's another one going for auction like next week.
Okay.
And like, I don't think there's an auction on this one, not that I'm aware of.
And
Is this-
it would be $500 per lot, so it would be the assessment reduced, not the upfront
Right.
purchase.
Okay.
that's a county issue, I believe that their purchase for the $500 that has something to do with the county recorder and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They set that.
The notice for the sale of tax forfeited properties from the county, Friday, February 11th at 2 PM.
Could you call and see if you had to wait until then, or if you could look at prior to?
So I called on the other lot, so I know when that is, and I didn't know that this one was actually auction. I thought I could just buy it from the city, because I thought that was, like, that's why they're doing that one in the county. That's what I understood when I talked to them.
But this has got, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of a separate issue. As far as the combination of the two, to go with one assessment.
I think that small lot is, it's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, that small lot's gonna be worthless.
Yeah.
We had a motion and we had a second. All in favor?
Aye.
And then I'll fill out that resolution with all the names and stuff tomorrow, and
Okay. Moving on to new business number 1.
hold on here a second.
You ready, Clinton?
Yep.
I'm gonna actually have Assistant Mayor Andy Alman present this one. There's a little conflict here where I'm on the Hay-Days committee. I just wanna be impartial, so. Andy?
So we are looking at the use of Purple Goose liquor license during Hay-Days Festival. Judy, do you wanna let us know what you're looking at here?
I had to write it down though, 'cause I ramble. I have a handout for everybody also. For reference, and then Clinton is also gonna put it up on the
I'll
screen.
put it on the
for
screen
us.
here in a second.
Fingers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's that?
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. What'd I do? Oh.
Thank you. Okay, greetings, Mr. Mayor and council members. As a business owner and supporter of the Janesville community, I'm here to request a permit to allow adult patrons to carry an open container of alcohol from the Purple Goose through a monitored, gated passage to the Hay-Days tent. This permit would be in effect from Friday evening through Sunday afternoon. Looking at the diagram provided, you can see that there will be an entrance and an exit to the Purple Goose for the public. There will be a monitored exit that will go to the event venue, AKA the tent. The patrons will need to enter the tent through the main entrance and purchase entrance tickets as well. Those patrons will have been verified by us as adults over 21 and also have a distinct wristband for easy identifications for the bartenders for serving. This exit area will allow patrons to then carry beverages from the bar to the tent only. The Hay-Days Committee has done a good job of monitoring alcohol that is allowed in the tent and does not leave the permitted area. We would support these efforts as well. We also feel this would be a way to curtail the amount of underage consumption as well as overconsumption by some. This sidewalk will be open during normal business hours on Friday to allow customers access to those businesses. The closing of the sidewalk should not impact businesses as the businesses close to the Purple Goose are not open on Saturday or Sunday. Hay-Days is the only town celebration of the year that brings in a lot of people, friends, family, and those looking for a fun-filled weekend. It is a time many community clubs raise funds for the year. Businesses in town often see large revenue increases as well. Those revenues are used for things that can promote our businesses and our community. This simple request will allow guests to our community to celebrate Hay-Days in the same manner as our neighboring communities. Many of the small communities around us have permit options for their community events that allow for this type of request. In the past, the local bars have had the opportunity to sell alcohol inside the tent venue that was blocked last year by the committee. The Purple Goose employees were diligent in monitoring doors so that no alcohol left the building. These employees were met with many hostile comments and having to either confiscate or have patrons return to the bar to consume their beverages. That statement right there needs to be expounded on. My staff was treated like garbage because we could not allow anybody to go outside that door. You could come inside and drink, but you could go outside and drink what they had, but you couldn't take your drink from us. We are asking for the city to be supportive of the community business and oversee the Heydays Committee, remembering they are a committee and non-regulatory. I, Judy, hold an off-site liquor and catering license, which also includes liability insurance and an understanding of the laws and the regulations associated with serving liquor and food outside of my business. My staff are also trained and knowledgeable when serving. So what we're asking for in simplicity is a 3-day permit for us to allow to go to the street. We don't have to be on the street with you, with the Heydays Committee. We can serve from our building, but we want to be able, through a gated entrance like that shows. So you can show, if you could show them, Jen.
So, when you're looking at this, so this is the west side of the street, the Blazing Electric, the Purple Goose, the sidewalk, this would be Main Street where the food tent would be, and this is the event tent with the entrance there. So the proposal is to have, the double doors of the Purple Goose, the purple doors, open to the general public, entering through this little side door, and then determining at that point if they are over 21 or under 21. They could come into the bar and stay in the bar if they wish, but if they would like to take their adult beverages across, we would have some sort of a gating system with input from the council and the city that would have a one-way path into the entrance of the event tent. Those patrons would need to purchase the event ticket to get into the tent as well, but then they would be able to go back and forth through this monitored area and purchase alcoholic beverages as they choose and transport them across. They would also be monitored for their alcohol consumption, so if they were notably having consumed too much, we would be able to put a stop to that as well.
Logistically speaking, that would be creating 2 entrances into the tent, so would you be working with the Heydays Committee as far as that goes?
We would work with the Heydays Committee regarding that
entrance?
To their event.
Yeah, because I know like one of the biggest things about any event is minimizing entrances into
Correct.
that event, right?
Correct.
Okay, then you also had a thing about bands, like a wristband,
Correct.
which most do. Would
Correct.
you be working with Heydays Committee on that too?
Absolutely.
So it would be the same?
In prior days, when it was still the beer tent that was, is that Second Street?
No.
Okay, I get confused. We used to get together and say, okay, we're gonna have green and you're gonna have orange. And so that we would know that nobody could cross-check us and come in with a blue or whatever, because it was multiple nights, so we always worked with them.
Okay, and then, a lot of times you said that there was gonna be like monitored and gated, so then does that mean like extra staff, or
Yes.
like, okay. And then.
And because they're gonna be banded, they're going to be carded before they can even drink.
Right,
So-
right. So then, I didn't attend Haiti, I was not even in the state last year, but did it change? 'Cause from what I remember, it used to be kind of combined with the Goose, or like worked hand in hand. Is that not the
It was?
From what I remember is being able to go into the tent and the bar and be able to go all the way around. I don't remember it being stopped, so I'm just trying to figure out when the change happened and when the
I
change
can
was.
comment on that as a
Yeah?
Heydays Committee member.
Okay, thanks.
Last year, we decided to, as the committee ourselves, to sell the alcohol ourselves.
Okay.
We did that to offset the cost of the fact of, we charged no admission last year for the bands.
I see what you mean.
In turn, we sold our own beer to try to get our money
Get the
back
money back.
for the bands.
And is that the same thing that you're thinking?
We have discussed a bunch of things. One thing that may play a factor in this, we're not 100% sure we're gonna put the tent there this year. We did have so many people in there last year, we were exploring other options too for more area. And One question I had for you, all right, so you have an entrance through your Goose. Are you, okay, so the money you're collecting on those wristbands, is that going to you or to the Hay-Days committee,
I'm not
or?
collecting any money on wristbands.
The wristbands is just for the H?
They would collect at the gate, at the entrance where you go in and pay your admission from the outside, not from the Goose, but from the outside on the street.
Yep.
That's where the money is taken there.
So the only way to get into your bar would be to go through the tent?
No, the double doors
These doors right
No.
here.
are for public,
Okay.
but nobody can go out there.
Okay.
So that smaller door.
Okay.
Would that be a two-way, so they can, they bought a beer at the beer tent, they could come into your establishment?
Absolutely.
It's gotta be a two-way street.
My question then
Totally
is,
agree.
too, like liability-wise, let's say Hay-Days decides to do the same thing they did last year, and we allow this to go on. If we have the Goose, someone with a Goose band purchasing alcohol in the tent, or with alcohol from the Goose in the tent, something happens, whose liability is that? Is that Hay-Days or Goose?
It's a good question, and the lawyers are gonna fight about it.
Right, and then Minnesota is like, what is it called, fair, no fault. So then, does that just kinda, we don't worry about it, or?
Well,
It just
I mean,
seems-
it could potentially be an issue. It's not an issue that I would get too worked up.
Okay. Okay.
But, I mean, anytime that you do issue a permit, if you do issue this permit, you do take on some liability.
Right.
You know, it depends on what happens and specifically, exactly what happens. I mean, if it's a slip and fall, the city's liability is next to none. If it's a bar fight, again, the city's liability probably none. If it is a fight out in the event tent, I mean, then the chances of our liability, does increase. But it's not anything that I would get too concerned about.
Yeah, and I'm not too worried entirely about like the bartending piece of it, like monitoring. That's just a part of, that goes hand in hand with bartending, is monitoring who you're giving alcohol to.
Has this been ran by the Hay-Days?
That was my next question, was have we worked with them?
I think Charlie Corliss might be here for the Hay-Days for our committee.
Yeah. You want me to talk now, or-
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah.
You can come up and just state your name and address, so we got it.
All right. Hi, Charlie Chuck Voss with the Hay-Days Chamber. So when I heard about this, I've been doing this for 7 years, and all due respect to every business in this community that wants to be part of Hay-Days. This is a private, non-profit event. It's up to us who we allow to partner with us or not partner with us. I don't even know why this is here. Well, I don't even know why we're talking about this right now, because yes, we partnered with the bars previously, but that was our decision.
Right.
Before that happened, when it was on Second Street by the library, there was no partnership with the bars before we took it over. And then, as Andy stated, we decided last year to, get a little more revenue going for the Hay-Days. It's a nonprofit. We give back to the community. We help pay for the, everything that goes on that weekend, plus other things throughout the year.
Mhm.
And so we decided to do it on our own. And it's still our event. I don't even understand how, I don't care about a 3-day license with any establishment in town. It doesn't mean that anybody can just show up that has a liquor license and start setting up shop. And we don't let the public walk in with a beer in their hand. I'm 21, I can walk in, So I guess I'm asking that whatever you decide on this 3-day license that's being asked for, shouldn't affect Hay-Days, because we're prepared to move forward on our own. This is a big event, and it's not just about the bars. It's about and we have control over who participates. If somebody wants to have a food venue outside of the tent, they go through us.
So it would almost be more feasible to wait for you guys to see what you want to do first before we even broach this?
Well, we're gonna do the same we did last year.
Same thing as
Yeah,
last
we're
year.
not,
Oh, okay.
we're not changing. It was a good year last year for us.
Mhm.
It just, the way everything fell in place for us to do it that way, that's the way we did it. I mean, like I said, no, you know, I feel bad that, you know, we can't work with everybody in this town, but, I mean, next time a bar opens up, then are they gonna just, you know, are we obligated to just, it's our event. At the end of the day, it's our event. We have every right to say who walks in and who doesn't walk into that event.
So theoretically speaking, you guys could say no to that entrance into that tent?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, and we will say
The
that.
city council approves it.
Unless we overstep it, right?
But how could the city council, even if you approve it, that doesn't mean we can, it's, you're gonna, so you're saying the city council approves it, and then now we have to abide by the city council, that who comes in and who comes out of our private
I
event?
think up at the entrance where there's a junction, if the Haydays Committee says, we're not allowing a gate to this event at this access point, I think that you guys do have.
That's what I was wondering.
You have the right to say, we're not opening this gate.
Because,
We're not manning this gate, or we're not allowing.
You shut down the public street then,
well, I think, because technically speaking, what you're applying for is a licensure adjustment or temporary license, which has nothing to do with an entrance of another event. It's simply about the license, correct?
That's the only.
That's what's on, that's what we're...
table tonight.
Right.
That's
So-
the only power that we have is to say yes or no.
On the
temporary
license.
Alcohol license.
I don't wanna run into a situation,
Right.
like I said, I don't care about, I mean, I hope that there's more events throughout the year, outside or inside, whatever, but during this specific event that we reserve that street for through the county and through, a vote at the city here, every year on that weekend, at the end of the day, that becomes our event, and, you know, it is what it is. We decided last year to do this privately, sell the alcohol ourselves. We have a nonprofit organization sell it. I mean, we're doing a lot of things with these funds, but we're not for profit. You know, a private business decides to come in our event, it's up to us whether or not we want them to participate or not. So,
Well, and that's just it, because if we're creating this, let's say we could do that, I mean, that's forcing staff on your entrance, and it gets really tangled in there for me, but then the baseline is we'd be going through this whole hoopla on a licensing that has absolutely no bearing on the dynamics here.
yeah, when we partnered with the establishments in the past, it was all on them, all the, you know, liability and all that stuff was on them as far as alcohol goes. We don't want two different situations and two different people monitoring people drinking and not drinking and who's of age and who's, you know, we want one,
One entity.
yeah, we want control of it.
And I don't even sound,
Mean about it, but it's just, I don't wanna run into a situation, if this is approved, that, okay, now we
But
have
it sounds
to
like these are
change
two
everything.
separate issues,
sounds
am I
like it
right?
is.
Okay.
two completely separate issues.
Okay.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Right now, the issue is, are they allowed to take beer outside during Haydays? The next issue would be, is the Haydays committee gonna allow them into the tent? Correct? Okay.
Have they applied for a temporary license?
No.
I think that's
Not at this-
the route
Not at this point.
I think the way our ordinance reads it,
That's the route
I'm
you
not
have to
attorney,
go
but-
if you to apply for a temporary
I'm
license.
gonna rely on you for this, tell me I'm wrong, but the way our ordinance reads now, you'd need a temporary permit to go out on the street.
Correct.
Unless there's a specific fenced-in area for that business, such as a patio, or the
And
way
then-
our ordinance reads.
And in
Temporary
this-
license is not a problem to get, but that's a route, I think,
Yes.
to get through our ordinance the way it is, unless we change the ordinance, is my understanding.
Okay, I was just, you know, nothing against the Hayes community. This is a community event. We want to enhance the community. We want to have the ability to serve the patrons from both sides. This is not meant to be a competition. And the way we looked at it when we were doing this, and we've talked about it and drawing this schematic up, is that if coming in to the edge of the entrance should not put any more pressure on the staff that is going through the tent, because you can only have so many people go through at a time anyway. We have done one step and helped them by carding people and making sure they are of legal age. So what we're doing is we're just asking that our adult patrons are allowed to take their open container from the bar into the entrance of the tent.
Right, the only problem is, we don't have any say about the insides of that tent. That's what I'm trying to,
That's where you have to
that's
go to
the
the
whole
ADA's
thing.
committee and ask them about coming into the tent.
So we could
We could
approve
do the
this,
liquor
but
license.
we don't have any say over, once your patrons leave, where they can go with that, essentially, because that's not our event, it's theirs. So even if,
I thought it was a community event.
but the city council doesn't,
It's not regulated by the
it's
city.
unfortunately, we just do the permits and,
Okay,
right,
clarify that.
yeah.
Thank you.
That's,
Then
yeah.
I have a question. So, if you're not aware of this, I also have a caterer's license, an off-site caterer's license, that I can sell food or liquor anywhere in the state of Minnesota. So, at that point, it would never be my intention to do anything to hurt the Hay-Days Committee or this event in any way. All I'm asking for is some cooperation to work together. Would I be able to put the liquor into a separate area and sell it there? And this committee sell just the beer and the wine coolers?
That'd be something you have to...
Again, that's something you gotta go to the
with,
ADA's committee with.
Right.
You have to be selling food at the time to use your catering license, though, I believe, right? Yeah.
Always.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, this wasn't meant to start an argument or anything else. This was meant as, I've been here for 19 years, and I think we've proven ourselves to this town a lot. And what my staff was subjected to last year, because we couldn't go on that street, was not fair to them.
If your staff are being verbally accosted, like, definitely turn that away. But also, that has nothing to do with the Hay-Days Committee. I mean, unfortunately, I get
I'm
that,
not saying it does.
okay, that's just the
Not at all.
implication that
We want
sounds like.
we want this to run just as smoothly as the Hay-Days Committee
Okay.
does. We're just asking for the ability to work with them and not find out a week before that we're not gonna be able to go to the street like we did last year.
I think what we need to do is,
Well, it was way more than a week ago.
We should-
I got an email,
she should probably fill out the paperwork for the application first off, Clinton,
yes, because...
for a temporary liquor license.
You get the temporary event permit, I think is what it's called in our ordinance.
The health department?
No,
No,
from
that
the
comes
city.
from us, from the council.
3
I
day,
have to do
Just
another
three-
one through the county.
it'd be a 3-day temporary liquor license is what you're talking about, Andy? Is
Yes.
that right?
I
And how
think that's
much-
the way our ordinance says it, unless you have a, you know, a patio, it's pretty specific.
Right.
It's the liquor license, the
Right.
Hay-Days committee
It's
has
the
to.
3-day
Does she have to
temporary
pay
lic-
for that?
Yeah, it's $50, I think.
Okay, so that's my point. I don't want her or her staff to go through or waste their time or money if it's just a no-go. That's my point. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel that
it's,
you and the Hay-Days committee need to work out if you guys can work together. If you can work together,
I've
Go
never
for it.
then we'll,
wanted to work with them. I
then we
always
can move
have.
forward as far as permitting, but,
we can't,
because if it's their event to essentially let you into, then we,
Your
I guess
hands
it's
are
once-
tied, is what you're saying?
what's that?
So your hands are tied at that point, is what you're saying?
Well, by what I've been told, by what we've been told is if they're not willing to let you into their event to sell, then it doesn't much, I don't think the license has much to do with it, because
If you have the license, then no, they...
you can have the license, Judy, but if they're not letting you in their venue to sell,
right.
the license is
Essentially, we're...
essentially nothing.
Why don't we, Charlie, we will get a Hay-Days committee, meeting together, and we will contact you, Judy, make sure you can make it. Let's get out, let's just sit down and talk this out. Pretty simple.
Yep, that's all I wanted.
Okay.
Because then,
We'll do that without, it has nothing to do with the city council, I think it'll be between us, the Hay-Days committee, and you guys.
That's the reason we came, was for a
And-
license, nothing more.
And when and if we're able to work something out, then you come back for your
go forward
temporary
with the
license.
licensing then.
We'll do that and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks, Chuck, for answering questions, too.
Okay, we'll move along to the park board items. Jim?
Yeah, I'll submit it. The park board approved the building of a practice area over by Nelson Street. We had talked about it last fall.
Can you shoot that back up?
I know, let
Billy?
me, just a minute.
We had talked about it last fall or last summer when we built the disc golf course.
So you, by practicing, it's disc golf.
Driving
The
range.
disc golf driving range,
Gotcha.
yes. And, the council had decided at that point to see how the disc golf course went, whether it was, used, what kind of participation, and we had a very, very strong showing without even being open. So we went to the park board today, or tonight, and they approved building,
There you go.
I can look.
There we go. He can do it with a pointer too.
Yeah, along the south edge of the city property where those trees are, we were planning on putting 5 baskets in there and 2 tee boxes.
And who's funding this?
The Legion and the Legion from E-Legion. There'll be no cost to the city, it'll all be volunteer or
Yep.
help from individuals, so.
Okay.
Zero cost, nice benefit to the city, the park board.
It was approved and recommended by the
Yes.
park board?
Park board recommends council approval.
And so I would move that we allow them to do this.
I'm gonna ask that we get some sort of signage or something around to show that we have that, because
Yeah.
There
So
will
people
be
know
real
it's
cool.
there?
There will be
Exactly.
And Gary
you
had
have
talked
a
about
picture of
that
the,
earlier tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, we,
Yeah, there will be a bulletin board sign up by, it'll be, about 4 feet wide, probably 8 feet high, telling what is there and describing it and the rules and
The
regulations.
school has some interest, of course, using it too, that would,
Yeah.
due to its proximity to our field
right,
and stuff,
for
so.
kids and
I
stuff.
talked
have
to
to go up to the
Superintendent,
Kurt?
Earlier, and he was thrilled. He was just thrilled, yes.
May I ask a question? Jenny Dungay, I live in that neighborhood.
Yep.
And that, I think it's great. One question,
Yes.
parking.
There's no
yeah.
residence on the west side of Nelson, and there is a driveway right at the corner by where the tree line comes to Nelson, and there could be, an area there for 5 or 6 cars if they wanted to park
Right,
off
and that's
street.
my question. I would like to see a signage that says parking on one side of the road only, the side closest to where that golf course would be, and no parking on the neighbors where the people's homes are.
So you would have no parking where the,
Where the homes are located,
Oh.
on the east side of the street. I would like to make a request, if that would be possible.
Can we dictate
and
that?
that would be outside of what our request
Yeah.
is, but the city would have to determine that at some point.
Right.
But I'm just, as
Good
a-
suggestion.
someone who
Yep.
lives there, I do have a concern with that.
Okay.
As someone who feels nuisance complaints, we need to think about someone that screens the south side of that to keep those
That's my next question.
out of the residential property.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't considered that will have to be a consideration.
Needs to be some way to keep people out of there, because they don't,
Correct. Currently, there are 4-wheelers and snowmobiles that come through from the south and ride there.
Any
So-
thoughts, Gary?
And there's not thick trees, there's pretty sparse.
I can't even picture what it looks like over
Parking
there.
on the west side of the street would be no problem, I think that's where most of it's gonna be anyway. And, I guess I don't foresee any issues as far as the direction of the disc being thrown. They're gonna be thrown more toward the athletic complex and not necessarily directly toward the residential area, I don't feel.
well,
So I don't.
I guarantee you, 100% of them are gonna be that way, though.
Yeah.
You've never say maybe.
That's right.
Never say never. How about if we, consider that if there is an issue at a later time, the committee could come forward and put up something to, I'm not sure that it's an issue, I have no idea, I don't play disc golf.
I suppose you can't really put a barrier up if you have
at least some
four-wheelers
signage
and
for minimal,
snowmobiles.
that it's.
Right.
where the
Private
line is.
property.
Private property.
Just some signs along there, just
Yeah,
so,
no trespassing.
just that, so everybody's aware that there's
Yep,
at minimal, I think we should do that.
I mean, there's not a barrier at the golf course either, you know. I mean, as far as an actual physical.
into somebody's yard,
For the
right?
yards. I mean, you'd like to have something, but,
Those people bought those lots of $1 million golf courses.
okay, yeah, that's true.
This is coming in after the fact. And what about a bathroom down there?
There's porta potties. So, yeah, we can put porta potties down at the site there. We're gonna have them out at the lake as well, or there's some there already, so.
What do you think, Clint?
What do I think?
Porta potty at the corner?
I'm not gonna answer that right now.
I think we'll see how the usage is.
Be a
If
good
people
idea to
are
put
playing
one out there
the game,
somewhere.
or if they're, wanna do.
I probably find a location, you know, for it. They can't
If the usage.
point it out right
shows
now.
we need one, I think we should put one there, but.
Yeah.
I guess we need
Let's
to,
see
A
what
lot
the
of kids
usage
down in
is.
that neighborhood, and if it's a lot of adults imbibing and playing,
It isn't a long-term, it probably, people only gonna be there for an hour or so at the most, probably, 'cause
Yeah.
there's only gonna be 5 baskets for practice.
I'm not a disc golfer, how long does it take to do the 18 out at the,
2 hours.
couple hours?
2 hours?
Yeah, 3 times lunch.
Okay. I hear it's a great course if you're into, I've never done it before,
Never
so.
done it before in my life, love it.
We're kind of excited about it. They had one tournament down at Fairmont, earlier this last year, and, the first half hour, they had 600 sign up for it.
The first
They only had
45 seconds. 45 seconds they had that many.
They
An
had-
hour, a minute and a half, they had 300 waiting list.
They had way more than they could handle, so I'm really excited about what's gonna happen out here, I think.
It's
The
huge.
nice thing is if you can get those tournaments to keep going and you can get one here, that's big for
No
business.
one is considering 2 or 3 already out there, and so. that's-
Driving range.
That's the part.
So are you looking for a motion for the driving range?
Yes, and I already
Um,
moved that I think we should allow them to build it there.
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna abstain until, just because I'd like to see the schematics of where that could possibly run into property and what we could do to, it's not that I'm not for it, I just wanna wait, but, so I'll abstain.
Well, we have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Got her.
Where,
401.
This is the key.
yeah.
You have an item, right, Mayor?
I do, yes.
They shift them for the,
These are the,
Okay, one more.
those are the baskets and stuff. I might have to-
Chop, chop.
You guys ready?
yeah, sorry,
We just have a thing going.
Oh, okay.
we're just vibing.
The EDA voted to increase basically their lending limit to one person from 40 to 80. They voted to approve it. Does the council want to follow their lead?
I think so.
Okay, is that a motion?
I will.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think that's a good move on your part.
We need one more motion.
We need one more motion?
Yep.
Can I motion?
Yeah.
Then
Motion to adjourn?
Oh! I thought you meant for the EDA.
I'll second that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Aye, we're out of here. 7:52.
Oops.